Good morning, everyone, and happy Easter. I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear you say it back to me. Let's try it again, and you say it back to me from behind your screen. Happy Easter, everyone. Okay, now that's a lot more like it. Well, doesn't it feel good to finally be able to say that? I'm sure you'd all agree that this has been a long Lent. Chronologically speaking, of course, it's lasted just as long as every other Lent, but hasn't this one felt just a little longer than usual? After the Lent that we've had, we could all use a little Easter in our lives right now. Thank God Easter is finally here. Thank God we can finally say Alleluia. Let's say it all together. Alleluia. Couldn't hear you. Let's try it again. Alleluia. You know, I was so looking forward to my first Easter at Sacred Heart and my first Easter as a pastor. As you could probably imagine, this was not at all how I pictured it. God really gave us a lemon this year. And what do you do when God gives you lemons? You make lemonade. I am so proud of all the ways that our parish has made lemonade out of this lemon. In fact, I'm looking at one of those ways right now. I wish you could all see what I see from up here. I'm looking out from this pulpit at hundreds of your smiling faces. Our pews right now are filled with photographs of the incredible families of this parish, plus a number of visitors from Staten Island and the Bronx, too. Let's see if we can put up a panoramic picture of this onto your screens. Is it up there? Can you see that, everyone? Take a close look. Now, how beautiful is that? Father Michael and I are so grateful to all of you who sent in pictures of your family to keep us company today. You've made today just a little brighter for the two of us, and for that, we sincerely thank you. Of course, nothing compares to being together physically for Easter Mass, and we're still disappointed that that couldn't happen. If you're feeling that disappointment, and I'm sure you all are, let me share with you something that God said to me through a good friend just a few days ago. It's helped me a lot, and I hope that it will help you too. My friend figured that I was probably bummed out about not having my people here for Mass on one of the most important days of the year. So he said to me, "Father, your church may be empty on Easter Sunday, but don't forget, the tomb is empty too, and that changes everything." You know, I can't stop thinking about those words. The church may be empty, but the tomb, Jesus' tomb, is empty too, and that changes everything. How does it change everything? It changes everything because it means there's hope. If God can bring a dead man back to life, that means that he can make good out of any situation. And to really believe that is to have hope. We Christians have it, and no one, no thing, and no situation, no matter how dark, can take it away from us. We Christians are famous all over the world for our hope. That's why we're called the people of hope. If you want to belong to the people of hope, then you got to understand one thing. There's a big difference between hope and optimism. You see, when you're just optimistic, it means that you're confident that things are going to turn out with the happy ending that you have in mind. But as we all know, in life, very often things don't always turn out the way we want them to, do they? When you're a person of hope, however, you hope for the best, but you accept the fact that things could go either way. And you know that whichever way things go, God is so powerful and so loving that he will bring good out of every evil. He won't leave your side, and he will make use of everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, for your good and his greater glory. After all, he was able to take the worst thing that ever happened in history, the crucifixion, and bring more good out of it than the evil that was done. And if he can do that, then he can do the same thing in our lives. To really believe that is to have hope. Do you see the difference? Let's take right now, for example. A merely optimistic person says, I'm optimistic that I'm not going to get the coronavirus. But a person of hope says, I hope I don't get it, and I'm going to pray like crazy for God to protect me, but I know that there's a chance still that I might get it. After all, a lot of people have. But because I'm a person of genuine hope, I know in my gut that whether I get it or not, God's love will be at work in my life. He's going to use everything for good. And ultimately, in his way, he's going to take care of me. You see the difference? Or let's take the example that we don't even want to think about right now. A family member gets sick with the virus and could die. All that the optimistic person can say is, I'm optimistic that my family member is not going to die. But the person of hope says, I hope that my family member will survive, and I'm going to pray with all my might for them to be healed because I know that God works miracles every day. And yet I know that there's a chance that the worst could happen. But because, as a Christian, I'm a person of hope, I also know in the depths of my heart that if that ends up being the case, God will still take care of me, my loved one, and my family. I know that Jesus conquered death on the cross, and so I have a firm hope that my loved one will enter the absolute bliss of heaven, that we're going to see each other again and even hug each other when we get our bodies back. And because I'm a Christian, I know that God is going to give me all the strength I need to deal with my loss. He's going to bring new graces into my life, and that someday the joy of the resurrection will replace the grief of the crucifixion. I'm going to keep hoping and praying for a miracle, but no matter how the story ends, I know with certainty that God is going to take care of everything. That's the attitude of a Christian. That's true hope. It's far more realistic and far more reassuring than mere human optimism. We Christians are not a people of mere human optimism. We are a people of hope. And nothing and no one and no situation, no matter how dark, can take our hope away from us. And we can say that with confidence because today it's not just our church that is empty, the tomb is empty too. When you wake up tomorrow, it may not feel like Easter to you. It might feel like it's still Lent. But I want to challenge everyone listening today to live as Easter people, to live as people of hope. You know, there's a reason why there's 40 days of Lent, but 50 days of Easter. And that's because we Christians are not a Lenten people. We're an Easter people. Yes, we live through the season of Lent every year, but we are not fundamentally a Lenten people. We're fundamentally an Easter people, and we need to live like it. Pope Francis once remarked that there are some Catholics out there who live as if it's always Lent and never Easter. Don't be one of those Catholics. Live like it's Easter. Live with hope in your heart and hope on your face. That's easy to do when everything's going well. But it's in times like this that it really counts. I want to leave you today with one final thought. When I was in the seminary, I had a fellow seminarian who was a very nervous type of guy. He got nervous very easily, and he got nervous about just about everything. No, it wasn't Father Michael, though we were seminarians together. Well, this seminarian, I'll call him John, was from a different diocese. And he had a bishop who was a very calm, serene man of faith, a true father figure to his priests and seminarians. Every time John would get nervous about something, his bishop would very calmly say to him, "John, you're going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And this whole situation's going to be okay." And wouldn't you know, sure enough, in his own way, God always seemed to take care of whatever it was that John was so nervous about. Well, on my first Easter as the father of this beautiful family that we call Sacred Heart, I would like to say loud and clear to all of my spiritual children who right now are feeling anxious, fearful, or scared. You're going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And this whole situation's going to be okay. And I don't say that with mere optimism. I say it with something that carries far more weight. Christian hope. And why can I be so bold as to say it? Because it's not just this church that's empty today. The tomb is empty too. And that changes everything. May the risen Lord give you the gift of hope this Easter, and may he fill your heart with peace. Happy Easter to you and your families, and may God bless you all.